was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. As always, I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and we have a very special treat for you today on episode 110. I'm bringing in Marques Ogden today. Yes, that is right, Marques Ogden. And he is a gentleman that I met through another resource, and we connected right away. He is a very successful keynote speaker, hosts a podcast. And today, what stood out for me in a lot of what Marques does is he talks a lot about consistency and the key, how consistency is the key to achieving success. And that's like speaking to my heart. Y'all know how much I talk about consistency. So today we're going to dive into that with another person, which is Marques Ogden, so I can get his take on consistency in his world and where he came from and what he does today, so we can understand, again, from his perspective, why it's so important in achieving success. But before we do, I want to thank our sponsor of today's show, Phoenix Drone Pros. At Phoenix Drone Pros, we love what we do and are passionate about each and every drone photography and video shoot. We've been in business since 2017. Our talent and skills shows and video production we deliver. We offer fast service for commercial real estate, movies, events, and construction site monitoring. We also provide drone visual tours that are all the rage right now. These visual tours are great for team building and entertainment. Contact us at phoenixdronepros.com to schedule your shoot online or to get more information. We capture everything. And I heard latest news from Phoenix Drone Pros. They are going to start franchising. So if you are interested in owning your own drone business, go to phoenixdronepros.com to find out more. Okay, let's get to Marques. Super excited about our guest today. He has quite a background. He grew up in a single parent home, so did I, with a father that inspired perseverance and fairness. Marques Ogden learned how to define his values and set goals. So important as a child growing up. Ogden attended Howard University from 1998 to 2002, where he played Division I football. He then followed his dream and his brother Jonathan's footsteps, eventually getting drafted into the NFL in 2013. Overall, he played for 5 years and is an offensive lineman with the Titans, Bills, Ravens, and Jaguars. Even during the offseason, Ogden helped train football players in Europe, both physically and mentally. That's really awesome. Ogden Ventures, LLC, is an elite brand founded by Marques Ogden, specializing in inspirational keynote speaking for major corporations and organizations, and coaching plus consulting for business professionals and high-level executives. So he works with individuals and really shares his powerful life lessons on the world stage and helps amplify your message and elevate your brand to the next level of success. Marques, welcome to the show.
Colleen, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Marques just moved into his new house today. So we're excited that he was able to carve out some time to be with us. It's exciting moving into a new house, you and your daughter, and tell us all about it. We want to know.
Yeah, so I bought a house 3 weeks ago and, but you know how it is. So I'm recently divorced. And when I left my marriage, last year, I left everything. So I owned nothing when I moved in. I was in a furnished apartment, and talk about consistency. It was really hard. Colleen, was really, really dark. It was a not small place, 2-bedroom, but it was furnished, but it was all outdated things, black refrigerator, small stove, 2 windows in the entire apartment, not a lot of people around there were speaking, not a lot of positivity and things of that nature. So consistency got me from basically filing for divorce July 26th of last year, moving out November 1st of last year, going to mediation October, then finalizing in January, and then moving into my new home in May of this year, May 15th. And without consistency, without goals, and without visualization, Colleen, there's absolutely no way in the world I go from being married in a nice townhome to an apartment and in a bad state of mind to now a 3,100 square foot home that I just bought over $500,000 by myself through working with my amazing team, clients. But again, consistency got me from there to where I am now.
Yeah. I love that you shared that. And thank you so much. And first of all, congratulations. Not on the divorce. I've been divorced before. So never congratulations. I mean, sometimes it's a good thing, but I will just say this, things happen for a reason and there's a silver lining in everything, but congratulations on having a place for you and your daughter to lay your head, to call home, for you to create memories in. That's very special. And I know that she'll need that. And so will you. So congratulations on that. You mentioned something about goals. And I'm shocked, and I'm sure you are. So I would love for you to share any stories that you have of how many businesses you work with, and you find out that they really don't have goals set. Like there isn't a clear path on what they want to achieve. They have an idea and they have a vision, but there's no action plan or clear goals or metrics set for reaching and achieving that success. So how do they create consistency when there isn't a clear action plan?
Well, you can't. Well, that's not true. You can be consistent doing things, but a lot of times it's the wrong thing if you don't have an action plan. So take our podcast, right? Today, we've been streamed in 100 countries, I found this morning, and we are 8 days shy of our 1-year anniversary, right? Take our speaking business. That's what started everything for us. Then it went into coaching, consulting, brand ambassadors, so on and so forth. I tell clients all the time, if you don't have a tactical action plan of what you want to get done from the strategic plan you create, then don't even bother either opening your doors or don't even bother trying to get comfy in your chair because you won't be here long. Because strategic goals, plans are awesome. A lot of people do that, like 30,000 foot view, high level, blueprint. A lot of people love that. You know why, Colleen? It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I want to be a speaker. Oh, I want to be LeBron James. Oh, I want to be Tom Brady. Oh, I want to be this. I want to be that, right? Well, that's the easy part, right? We call those visionaries, dreamers, and we need those, right? But if you want to actually have a successful business, you better get tactical. If you don't have a tactical step, like how many meetings you're going to have, how many people you're going to interview for podcasts, for speaking, what are going to be your titles, what's your description, how are you going to do outreach, how are you going to market? I mean, so on and so forth. If there's no tactical action plan, you could be consistent. Most of the time, right, you're being consistent around the wrong things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm assuming some of these lessons came to you back when you were playing in the NFL. What would you say the consistency that you taught yourself then or learned back then? You know, growing up with a single parent, you talked about the values and the goals that were set for yourself. So you had to have had a goal to reach the NFL at some point. I'm assuming that was a goal you set for yourself.
Yeah, I had the goal going into my last year of college, actually, because before that, when I went to Howard, I was like, I'm going to go to Howard and play football. I'm excited. My dad went to Howard, but I wasn't thinking about being an NFL athlete. I actually went to work on Wall Street as a financial planner because my dad worked in investments his entire life. But what happened is when the NFL, I saw on some different boards, I'm actually possibly being able to be drafted in the next upcoming draft in 2003. Then I called my brother, who was already an all-pro offensive lineman with the Baltimore Ravens. Then I called his agent, Marvin Demoff, and said, Marcus, look, you have a chance. I mean, you know, you're on people's draft boards. They like what they see. You're big, you're athletic, you're fast. You know, you've got good hand placement. You know, you have a good bloodline with your brother and you. Give it your all. And that's what I did. And thank God we got a strength coach going to my last year at Howard, Keith Camaforo, who we're still friends to this day. Keith helped me get ready. I had a great coaches with Fred Dean, who was one of the residence officer linemen, Steve Wilson. All my coaches were amazing. My teammates were great. And Colleen, I just dug in. I said, you know what? Let's just go for it. And that's what I did. And I had a goal, right? I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to prepare this way. I'm going to eliminate going out to the club. I'm going to eliminate hanging out with a lot of women. I'm going to eliminate, drinking and all these things. That was the tactical aspect. And for 12 months, I followed it. And very fortunately, I was drafted to the National Football League by the Jaguars. And I'll share with your audience what Jack Del Rio told me. I don't care if you're a man, woman, it doesn't matter to me. Be your own CEO. Yeah. Jack said, if I have to tell you to get here a certain time or stay to a certain time, then obviously you don't want to be here that bad. So you have to be your own self-inspired, self-starting individual. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, if you can get to that point, that's when greatness happens.
Absolutely. You said something so interesting that I want to go back and anchor in for everybody listening, because when I introduced you, I talked about you being a consultant. I talked about you being a speaker. I talked about you coaching. You just mentioned about 6 coaches for 12 months that you put around yourself to bring you to another level, to keep that consistency in your life for that 12 months for you to reach your goal. Yet I see so many large corporations and business owners, even business owners starting out. That's my specialty. I've worked with launching businesses for 22 years. They think coaches are only for somebody in sports or for the Michael Jordans or the Tiger Woods or the Marques Ogdens. They don't see that consulting and coaching or having mentors can really change the game for you in the success of your business. Did you want to touch on that?
Oh, I mean, how about this? I'm asking you to know these people to just say yes or no. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Michael Jordan, when he was alive, Steve Jobs, right? Every last person, Tony Robbins.
Oh, yeah. I actually know Tony Robbins, coach, when he was 23.
Every last person that I know that is successful has a coach.
Yeah.
Everybody. And I don't care how good you are. I don't care how great you think you are. Mm-hmm. Great quote by Tiger Woods. You can always be better.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Coaching pulls out of you what you don't see in yourself. If you're starting a business, right? And Colleen is somebody you're looking at, working with, right? Don't you think Colleen could probably see a lot of things, not just in this, but in you that you can't see? Yes, that's consistency, because Colleen's gonna say, okay, you do this well, but how about this? Fix that, go here, go there. And you're like, that's right. Like me, I'm sure you know the name Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins mentored me. My coach was Brad Mitchell from NAPSA, National Athletic Professional Success Academy. Without Mel Robbins, without Brad Mitchell, who I am today wouldn't be. Yeah. There's no way, because they saw in me what I couldn't see. Mel taught me how to pull my story out. Brad taught me how to use my past football knowledge and prowess to be able to communicate better with corporate America for speaking, for training, for workshops, for presentations. Without those two, I'm a dead man walking. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening and you don't have a coach, you need to go ahead and get in the game and get one. Again, it is not an expense. A great coach is an investment into your brand. Without those two, right, Colleen, the type of money I'm making now today through speaking, coaching, appearances, brand, whatever, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Back in the day, you never would have, even today, I'm sure you would never drop any of your children off at to learn football or baseball or soccer or tennis or whatever they're doing without having a coach there. The coach is there to guide them, to bring out the best in them. I call them blind spots, business blind spots, personal blind spots. We all have them, and we can't see them. That's why they're called blind spots. That's why it's so important to structure ourselves with people around us that can guide us in those blind areas.
I mean, let's just be realistic. Let's just use common sense. If the most successful people in the world have coaches, obviously it works. I mean, I'm gonna make it real simple. Bill Gates, billionaire. Jeff Bezos, billionaire. When he was alive, Steve Jobs, billionaire. Warren Buffett, Tony Robbins. I mean, I can go down the list, right? Elon Musk. Every great leader that is successful that I know and have seen has a coach. So if they have a coach, why don't you?
Yeah, and they talk about all the time, they talk about advisors and people that have been mentors to them and people they've sat down with to have conversations with. It's crucial. It's absolutely crucial for anyone. If you want consistent success in achieving that success, if that's what you're looking for, then absolutely you need it.
So what I'm going to say is this, is mentors are really good. Coaches are great because mentors are going to be there for you when and if you need them, if they have time.
Yeah.
Coaches are dedicated to the consistency of your success. So I think when you have a mentor, you're not paying that person.
Right.
Help you if they can here, which is great. You know what I'm saying? All that. Awesome. Right. Yeah. What they truly, truly need, what you truly, truly need more than anything else, you need a coach for consistency to get it done and process and get it over the line. Without that, you're just never, to me, you're never going to reach your optimal success.
So let's talk a little bit about the ego. I know you talk a little bit about the ego. You talk a little bit about leadership and how individuals can become self-absorbed and they cause a self-destruction for themselves. And some of that might come from this piece. What we're talking about here is, I don't need a coach. I could have come out of corporate America after launching hundreds of businesses, after consulting and successfully doing that, saying, why do I need a coach? Why do I need anyone to help me? I've launched hundreds of businesses. I don't need anyone advising me or coaching me. I was wrong. Like, I absolutely hired a business coach coming straight out of corporate America to work with me to be able to see where my blind spots were, to build that, because now I needed someone to focus on those areas so I could reach the success I wanted to. And you speak on these topics. Talk to me about the kind of the ego and the leadership roles where they become so self-absorbed, thinking they already know everything. They're choosing not to learn.
I have a signature keynote for leadership titled "Self-Absorption Causes Self-Destruction: The Importance of Servant Leadership to Grow and Sustain a Business." Ladies and gentlemen, ego, exaggerated, glorified opinions. I constantly, Colleen, lied to myself. Oh, I know all about construction. I'm the man. I didn't know how to turn a computer into a bid a job. Okay. Glory. Put my name in the paper. Screw my employees. Oh, it's all about me, 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 me. I wanted what I call external motivating factors and opinions. Marques, we should try it this way. I hear you, but this way sounds better. Let's go that way, right? I'm like, I had to always have the last word, always. So when your ego gets in the way, you are just a fraction of a way from demise, right? Mm-hmm. And again, look at me, right? Think about this. I didn't have a coach, right? I didn't have a coach. I built an 8-figure business in 5 years, right? Amazing, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take me to lose that business? 90 days. Why? I had no coach to help me sustain, to keep me accountable from making dumb decisions. Mm-hmm. So not only can coaching help you get to a point, right? It can help you stay there. And I tell people all the time, if you think that you can't learn, you're already finished. Consistency is all about being able to take advice and or feedback and respond to it by applying it. For example, right, Colleen, we've worked for 53 Fortune 500 companies as a speaker in the last 7 years. I did a job for Guardian Life Insurance, did a speaking job, got rave reviews. My client, his name is Kevin, who hired me, said, Marques, all positive reviews. The only thing I'll say is that some people say, well, wow, Marques was just so fired up. He was just so passionate. We couldn't figure out what was it where he was trying to really hammer home at certain points. And I was thinking to myself, well, they want me to have people run through a brick wall. You know what? That's okay. I said, Kevin, thank you very much for that feedback. Mm-hmm. The following week, I spoke for NAIFA, National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors in Washington, D.C. Guardian was a sponsor of the event. Kevin was there. I took his advice, toned back a little bit, the whole process, boom, right? What happens? Great talk. People love it. Rave reviews. NAIFA is like, oh my God, Marques, we're hiring you for Apex. Colleen, the fastest I ever got hired by a client for a second job, 2 minutes. I came on stage, lady said, Marques, it was unbelievable. Like just unbelievable. We want you for Apex East. Here's our price. Can you take care? Can you do it? Like, yep. Okay, we'll get your contract. As a matter of fact, I need to go sign the contract today and get it back to him. The point I'm making is, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be consistent in life, you have to realize you don't always have the right answer.
That's right. If learning is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. 1,000%. It's so interesting that you talked about servant leadership, because I did a workshop last week for the municipal clerks here in the city of Phoenix, downtown. And we did a 4-hour workshop on servant leadership. It's one of my biggest workshops that I teach everywhere. And it's amazing to me how many people, it's the first time they've heard it, yet it's been around for centuries. But it's the first time they've ever heard of servant leadership. And to me, it's the easiest way to lead.
It's the only way to lead. So I tell people all the time, you want to talk about servant leaders, right? Just in history, Dr. King, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Princess Diana, right? These servant leaders, they served a cause greater than themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they earned the title of leader. It wasn't necessarily handed to them.
Exactly.
They earned it. And they do that through their influence because they sacrifice through the service. Absolutely true.
Dr. King didn't do what he did to have a holiday after him. Mm-hmm. He knew what he was doing was going to probably end his life early. How are you a man at 38 years old that passes away from being murdered, and the life you gave between the probably age of like 20 to 38, so about 18, imagine how much he had to do in 18 years to be considered one of the greatest leaders of all time. And he did it not thinking when he was going to pass away, it would ever be what it became. Mm-hmm. To me, that's what it's all about. Right? That it's serving a cause, doing something that's not about you. Mm-hmm. It's about the greater cause of humanity.
Yeah, he was being the change, right? That's what he wanted, was change. And he was being the change. He wasn't waiting for someone else in the world to produce it for him. And back then, there was no social media or cell phones for anyone to say, hey, yo, meet me down here. We're going to listen to Dr. King speak. He had millions of people there, all through word of mouth. Right. So he
all through this following him in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good point, Marques. Thank you for bringing that to light today. Now, I know our listeners are like, this guy is awesome, Colleen. Thank you so much for bringing him on the show, because we finally get to listen to to a gentleman talk about going through college, to football, to speaking on stages, to getting hired in 2 minutes. Speaking on stages is very powerful. We promote that a lot here on the podcast. You said you started everything from speaking on stage. You worked with Mel Robbins. She's the #1 booked female speaker anywhere. I mean, we all know that. We've read her books in my book clubs. You know, we've studied Mel Robbins. She's absolutely incredible. At marquesogden.com, this is where people can find your work. Are there other places they can connect with you, Marques, that we should be talking about?
Yeah, I would say big one is LinkedIn, which is just my name, Marques Ogden, MarquesOgden. I mean, I'm on Instagram, same thing, Marques Ogden, Facebook, Marques Ogden. TikTok, but most people like to connect me through LinkedIn. We have a very robust presence there. We're posting constantly. We're always sharing content. And of course, our website, you can find us there. You can email me at marques@marquesogden.com.
That's great, Marques. Thank you so much for bringing your expertise here today. And consistency again. You want to leave one last message with our listeners about consistency and something small that they can apply today to their business so that they can achieve that success. What would you say to them?
I would say use the acronym GOALS, going objectively after life-changing scenarios. And the tip for you all when it comes to consistency is get going. Mm-hmm. Don't wait. If it's an inch, you move forward, 2 inches, a yard, a mile, whatever. Just don't stop going forward. Don't, because the minute you stop, you got to restart. And when you restart, it's hard to get what? That same trajectory, that same moment. It's like football. You're trying to run to a touchdown, you see a guy in front of you, they'll tell you what? They don't tell you stop your feet. What they tell you? Run and keep driving your feet. Drive your feet. Drive your body through the defender and cross that finish line. Cross that end zone line. Same thing for you all that are listening. When you're about to get to the touchdown, wherever's blocking you, another competitor, a past mistake, your own, your imposter syndrome, wherever it is, just keep going. Just keep driving. Consistency is not about talent. You can be the most untalented person in the world and still be consistent and win the race. I was a really good football player, but I got in the NFL and stayed because I was consistent with my attitude. I worked out all the time. I was early. I stayed late. That's what life is about. Get in the game and go and get what you deserve to live the life that you deserve.
1,000%. Thank you so much, Marques, for sharing that with our listeners. And I just want to remind every single one of you, you're the only one of you that's ever going to be. You're the only one of you that has ever been. So why not create the life and design it just of what this podcast is about, creating your life and designing it the way you desire it to be and not waiting for it to happen by default to you. That's what we're talking about here today. Staying in action creates self-confidence. It creates self-esteem. That consistency will be the key that will get you to achieving that success. You heard it here from Marques Ogden and myself, and I want to thank all of you for joining us and for making us the top 3% in global podcasts and for being our loyal listeners. Thank you so much again. And Marques, thank you for being a guest here on today's show. And to all of you, until next time, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.